Hello. Thank you, Mayor Adler, Mayor Pro Tem, and all the council members for having us here today. My name is Nina Rinaldi, and I'm a renter in the Brentwood neighborhood of Austin, and I'm also the president of Aura. I have something to share with everyone here today. Earlier this year, I sat down with my parents and went through a couple of boxes of old family photos and childhood stuff. And the most interesting thing that I came across that day was this little certificate that's on the screen here that Brackenridge Hospital gave to my parents when I was born. It says, "This is to certify that Nina Dolcia Rinaldi is a native Austinite with all of the rights and privileges of being born in Austin, Texas on this date of June 4th, 1990. I bring this up now at a public hearing on the overhaul of our decades-old land development code because I think it testifies to an element of our local pride that ties legitimacy as an Austinite to tenure in the community and to some extent to birthright. This piece of paper is obviously a joke and it's cute, but there is an echo here of the rhetoric that crops up around growth in Austin in general and around CodeNEXT in particular. We don't need to pit longtime Austinites against new Austinites or wealthy Austinites against those who make less money. Unfortunately, our current land development code does just that by enforcing conditions where housing is scarce, particularly the kind of housing that is in demand by low and middle income families. Some people move here in search of a more tolerant environment that will embrace their sexual orientation or gender identity in a way that doesn't happen in the place where they were born. They move here to escape extreme hardship or even persecution in their native countries. A small handful of them move here because the state they come from has failed to resolutely address its affordability crisis. And they move here for school and for jobs. Let's welcome them with open arms. In order to champion inclusion, let's enact land use policies that include. When we talk about planning for growth and planning for change, I also want to say, as a resident of District 7, that it is long past time for West Austin residents to do our part to welcome greater numbers of new neighbors rather than pushing it all over to East Austin. A great number of West and Central Austin neighborhoods have long been affluent enclaves. There are also lots of neighborhoods there that didn't start out this way, but that have become more exclusive over time in the context of our housing shortage. We can make these neighborhoods accessible to more families from different walks of life if we allow an abundance of diverse housing options there. So I'd like to name some neighborhoods here. Pemberton, Terrytown, Travis Heights, Bolden, Riker Woods, Judges Hill, Old West Austin, Rosedale, Brentwood, Allendale, Crestview, Highland Park, Far West, Balcones, Zilker, Hyde Park, and Northwest Hills. These are the kinds of areas I'm talking about where we need to add the type of housing that is accessible to families who don't make a six-figure salary. If we do it right, yes, these neighborhoods will end up looking different over time. Austin should have continued to allow incremental increases in density over the past 30 years in order to accommodate population growth and mitigate sprawl. But we can use CodeNEXT as an opportunity to rectify the affordability issues perpetuated by our current code. I ask you to ensure that diverse housing options can be built easily and built next to each other throughout all of our neighborhoods, even in what we refer to as the neighborhood interiors. Fourplexes, sixplexes, row homes, and ADUs are great, and they should be legal everywhere. The certificate that I'm showing you doesn't say exactly what my rights and privileges are as a native Austinite, but I'm pretty sure they mean that it's my right and privilege to ensure that the next generation of native Austinites can afford to live here. It's my right and privilege to ensure that our policies align with the values that we hold dear. It's my right and privilege to uphold a vision for our future that is built not on the fear of having to look at a fourplex next door, but of welcoming all the families that want to share our city with us. Thank you.
Mr. Rinaldi, happy birthday, by the way.